This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
我不是因为他好而爱他，只因为他是我的小孩。
Tapi heran orang bangsa lain, bahasa lain. Tapi isi hati kita boleh faham
We often equate Bollywood with the entirety of Indian cinema. In the same vein, people often hold a similar monolithic assumption about Malaysia. But Malaysia is anything but monolithic. A simple look at its film industry is enough to show us its remarkable diversity of language, religion, and ethnicity. From the films I know, there is Sepet, a teen drama about the unwelcomed interracial relationship between a Chinese boy and a Malay girl. There is The Journey, a comedy featuring a spoiled British son-in-law and a grumpy conservative Chinese father. There is also Munafik, a Malaysian horror film with a Muslim medical practitioner as the lead character. And those are just the few films that I have seen in the past few months that didn't make the cut in this video. Today, allow me to recommend to you 3 films from Malaysia. They are not necessarily the best films, rather they are easy to digest fun movies that offer a glimpse into the conflict, struggle, and hope that many people of Malaysia experience. Join me and let's get a taste of the complex flavors of Malaysian cinema. Let's start with a lighthearted one. The Kid from the Big Apple is a 2016 family comedy.
Sarah. Oh, Grandpa.
In the film, Sarah, an American-born Chinese, is forced to move in with her grandfather in Malaysia, whom she has never met. Language barriers, cultural barriers, and a turbulent family history make the situation both awkward and very difficult. From the premise, you can see how this film can be interpreted as an allegory of cultural division. Just as an example, in Malaysia, different ethnic groups tend to attend schools in their own languages. Chinese Malaysians would attend Chinese language schools. While Bahasa Malay is mandatory, students don't always have the environment to practice. The language barrier remains hard to cross. With that in mind, the film cleverly decides to have Grandpa speaks only Mandarin while Sarah speaks English.
Oh my god, you're eating chicken feet? So disgusting!
These two are both literally and figuratively not speaking the same language. With that metaphor established, the film then shows how Grandpa and Sarah slowly overcomes their differences. Here are some examples. One night, out of curiosity and boredom, Sarah finds a photo of her mom when she was young and also realizes Grandpa was a stunner back in the day. That actually is Grandpa, by the way. This photo gives Sarah a view into Grandpa's history, and this history brings out Sarah's empathy and curiosity. Hoping to connect with Sarah, Grandpa brings all the kids to McDonald's. With kids being kids, they quickly make friends. He also introduces her to local food.
这是福建炒面的特点，用黑酱油下去炒才好吃。
And in true Chinese spirit, the two bond over the dining table. In the playground, the kids teach each other their languages.
She sells seashells on the Irish seashore.
醫生入手術室咁緊急掣。
The realization that you don't need to be the same to be friends is an important one for Sarah.
我在纽约不是在家玩手机，就是上网和朋友 chat。公园的娱乐场都没有比这里特别。
During a New Year celebration, a local gang tries to extort money from people. Sarah, being a hot-headed kid, kicks their asses. And Grandpa comes to help. Through all these small vignettes, we get to see how people of different cultures and languages can still come together and forge happiness. As they get closer to each other, we also get close to them. The lovable characters feel alive. By the end, it really feels like I've made a bunch of friends. Friends that can teach us how to get along. Sarah proves to be a great surrogate for foreign viewers, giving us a window into the daily lives in rural Malaysia. If you want a cozy film about people overcoming the differences, this is a nice little film for you. As part of the research process for this video, I visited the official Malaysia tourism website, which has a lot of helpful information about the country's culture and events. However, the website is a bit plain. Here's the Canada tourism website for comparison. So, hey Malaysia, if you need a website upgrade, I have a deal for you straight from Squarespace. With Squarespace, you can build your website quickly using the catalog of professional-looking templates, or you can import old content from compatible websites and improve your new site with Squarespace's extensive customization options. The process is quick and easy, and the result is professional. Start a free trial at squarespace.com/accentercinema and use the code accentercinema to get 10% off your first purchase. Whether you need a website to represent your brands, your products, or your countries, Squarespace has the right tool to help. Visit squarespace.com/accentercinema and start a free trial today. Now, let's take a look at a harsher film. Jagat is a 2015 crime drama about an Indian-Malaysian boy being seduced into a life of crime. Bet most of you didn't even know Indian Malaysians exist. Inspired by the writer-director's personal life, this film offers an honest and brutal look at one of Malaysia's most discriminated ethnic groups.
Hey! Hey! Aboy! Ah! Aboy! Relax.
Through the eyes of a child, we see how poverty drives the kid's father and uncle into two different paths. The father brings his frustration home. The uncle decides to live a life of crime. In fact, everyone acts along the same line in this film, frustrated and restless, abusing whatever powers they have in order to feel in control. And this pursuit of control is one of the key themes of the movie.
நம்ம அப்பா அம்மா காட்டை திருத்தி நாட்டை உருவாக்குனாங்க. கடைசியில் மிஞ்சினது சுடுகாடு மட்டும்தான். நம்ம எஸ்டெல்லாம் விற்று நம்மளையும் நடுத்தருக்கு கொண்டு வந்துட்டாங்க. இந்த அடிமை சங்கிலியை உடைக்கணும்னா நம்ம கட்டி கொஞ்சம் காசு இருக்கணும்னா.
The history of Indian Malaysians is rooted in colonial slavery. They came as indentured workers bound for rubber estates of the British Empire. When all forms of slavery were finally banned in the 20th century, plantations closed. 300,000 Indians were evicted. But there was no government programs to resettle the workers. Malaysian Indians became a forgotten class. The film does an excellent job at showing the effects of this generational poverty. The kid seeks control by mimicking those whom he thinks are powerful. Heroes in movies, neighborhood gangsters. Uncle seeks control through violence and the promise of wealth, risking his life doing so. And the father controls his son's behavior, hoping he can break this cycle through education. I won't be spoiling the ending, but needless to say, it's unlikely for it to have a happy ending. Despite its low budget, the film has some very inventive compositions. The talent of the filmmakers really shines through. Through these almost unfiltered images, we are given a glimpse into a corner of Malaysia that goes unseen by the rest of the world. It helps us realize that each country has its own set of issues. If you want a film that's more challenging to watch both in terms of content and presentation, this is a good pick. Lastly, let's take a look at an optimistic one. Rise Ini Kalira.
Why do you care so much?
Bah, because it's my country?
This is probably not the best film on the list, but it's worth watching purely because of its subject matter. The film recounts the story of the historic 2018 general election, in which Malaysia overcomes barriers like gerrymandering and unseated its corrupt prime minister. How corrupt, you ask? Supposedly, the administration misappropriated funds on luxury items, including funding Hollywood movies, so that's kinda wild. The film depicts multiple characters from all facets of society coming together to exercise the right to vote, despite personal hardships. We have a police officer stationed in a rural area, a fixer working with a foreign journalist, a university student living in England, a Chinese-Malaysian worker in Singapore, and an Indian-Malaysian dance teacher. All of these characters are hopefuls and have grew disillusioned with the country's state of corruption. Take the teacher, for example. She finds out funding for her classes has been cut.
Funding cut da. No more classes.
And her reaction is,
Sir, funding illanalo class nadakkum.
Just like its characters, the film is equally optimistic. We see friendship across ethnicity and skin color, love across language and culture. The film depicts what society could and should be. Change is difficult when life is difficult. The police officer, idealistic and refuses to take bribes, struggles to support his family. Meanwhile, many Malaysian students in England receive their ballots late. One of them will have to fly back with all the votes and potentially miss out on their job applications.
Yes, memang kita jauh daripada Malaysia, but we want to make a difference.
In this situation, what will you do? Unsurprisingly, the film calls for personal sacrifices.
Okay, I'll do it.
And applauds those who do so. It's a celebratory movie, cheering for the people who did the impossible through democratic means. It may not be a great movie,
Because every word counts.
its overly patriotic tone is, at times, very manipulative, doubly so if you are Malaysian. At the same time, I feel like every country needs a movie like this. India has Newton, that's an awesome movie. If there's one thing Rise does well, is that it shows more than just colorful diversity. It also shows us how society shifts and changes. The nation has desires and hopes, has problems and seeks solutions. Malaysia is a living, breathing country. Hopefully, with today's films, we all learn to challenge our preconceived notion and dispel the myth of the homogeneous Asian nations. The people of Malaysia comprise of many ethnicities of many cultural backgrounds, living all around the world with varying, ever-changing goals and desires. When watching these films, I can help but notice how it makes me feel nostalgic for a place I've never been to. Maybe it reminds me of my small-town childhood or my idealistic student years. Or maybe it just reminds me how similar we all are. All these societal issues we all share and our desires to overcome them. Malaysia is a diverse place because the world is a diverse place. Just as the mother in Sepet said,
Tapi heran orang bangsa lain, bahasa lain. Tapi isi hati kita boleh faham